City Council, April 27th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Central Time. We'll proceed with the prayer. Dan, if you will.
Let's pray. Our Father, this afternoon, we thank you for the opportunity that we have to conduct the business of the City of Monteagle. We're grateful once more for your love to us and your care for us as a community. You continue to look after us and watch over us. We thank you for our policemen and the work they do to keep us safe and help us know the right things to do in our traffic. And we just pray that you bless and lead and guide in the meeting. Continue to bless our EMS people and our firemen and all that they do for us. And just ask that you'd direct us this evening in our approach to conduct business. And we just commit our ways to you and thank you for your love. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Good crowd. Wake up, Dean!
Grant, sorry, I'm distracting.
Roll call.
Oh, here, present.
Grant.
Here.
Dave.
Here.
Nate.
Here.
Okay, you've received a copy of the minutes in your packet. I'll accept the motion to accept the minutes as submitted.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the beer board.
All right, well, I was doing the city meeting first.
Okay, for the city meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Are there any comments or additions, corrections on those minutes? Approving them, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, then, Grant, if you would, the beer board minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the beer board from March 30th.
Is there a second to that motion?
I didn't see him here in the packet. Oh, sorry, that's for discussion.
If you. Is there a second to the motion on the beer board minutes?
Here. Yes.
Yes, Dean
Oh.
seconded.
Any additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And this is minutes for the public hearing of March 30th. I'll accept the motion to accept those minutes.
I will make a motion to accept the minutes of the hearing, public hearing, March 30th.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections to those minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, any other minutes? All right, let's go to citizen comments. Citizens wish to be heard at this time. Mr. Waller?
I'm going to make these comments about the police department. I want to be known that I have never had a moving traffic violation, so I'm not trying to get off with the town of Monteagle Police for any future activity. Monteagle Police Department has come under fire recently from various sources, including members of the town council, and from an April 19th article by the Twinney County Herald's editor, Lisa Howard. I don't know if you ever saw that. I'm compelled to make a statement that the Monteagle Police Department is doing an outstanding job in cultivating mutual respect with the community, enforcing the law, and protecting the people of Monteagle, including me, my wife, and you. I've come to this conclusion by reason of personal interaction with Monteagle's police officials and from reports of others who have expressed great satisfaction with the work and the demeanor of the Monteagle Police Department. This morning, a Winchester resident told me how she had been politely assisted by a Monteagle police officer in filling out an accident report for a vehicle accident which had occurred on Main Street. Several years ago, police Aileen quickly responded to my complaint about two diaper-clad children playing in the middle of Northwest Circle Drive, and immediately he got that issue resolved with the Department of Children's Services. Except for habitual lawbreakers and some school zone speeders, most have respected and appreciated the Monteagle Police Department. And the factually incorrect and one-sided story in this Herald. A Monteagle businessman has turned the courtroom tables on his accusers, is the title. The Grundy County Herald editor cites claims in a pending lawsuit by a person previously arrested by the Monteagle Police Department. She cites from the pending lawsuit against Chief Aileen and others, including the town of Monteagle, that police used excessive force, unjustifiable physical abuse, malicious prosecution, assault and battery, infliction of emotional distress, and acted in a manner of retaliation. The article, which most likely is intended to influence a pre-trial jury pool, states that the litigant is suing Police Chief Aileen and the City of Monteagle in the amount of $90 million damages. The article, entitled "Do Make a Federal Case Out of It," is so lopsidedly biased that it should be thrown in the trash can. But the article appears to have generated a large number of comments on Facebook, many of which appear to laud the implied accusations against the town of Monteagle and the police department of Monteagle. The majority of these comments were posted by persons who are not even residents of Monteagle. Therefore, I salute Chief Aileen and I compliment the Monteagle Police Department.
Thank you. Thank you. And I neglected to make opening comments about the meeting. If there's any disruption, you'll be asked to leave, and we're going to stay with the 3-minute rule so that everyone has a chance to speak. But we want to maintain decorum at these meetings, and that's our intent. So I just wanted to put that out there. And I thank you, Mr. Waller, for your comments, but there have also been comments to me about how the phraseology and words were used in that report. So it's something that has drawn attention, and the citizens can contact the editor with their comments. But thank you for that. Any other citizen comments wish to be heard at this time? Mr. Fox?
Good evening, Mayor and Alderman. My name is Christopher Fox, and I'm here on behalf of Fox Guns On LLC, who's purchased the property at 61 College Street in 2014. The property involves a narrow 11-foot private drive that the city now refers to as West First Street. During the 2014 purchase, the property described was changed without our knowledge or consent. The 30-foot right-of-way was added on the existing 11-foot private drive, while land we also expected on the other side of the drive was also omitted entirely from the final description. We have a contract agreement from the previous owner, Richard Black, that clearly describes the full property we were purchasing. An email between the alderman and surveyor at the time showed that the 30-foot claimed right-of-way already encroaches over 2 feet into our building. The city, instead of enforces the full 50-foot minimum right-of-way, the city ordinance says all streets must have, would create an additional 10-foot encroachment to our building and properties. Fox Gun Pond LLC has owned the property for 12 years. Since the 2014 purchase, when I blocked the drive for several weeks to address access issues, the city informed me that I could not block a city street. And this was exactly when we first discovered the discrepancy in the city's claim. One alderman stated that he's always driven through there and it has always been a city street. However, just because someone cuts through a private drive instead of using an actual city street does not convert the private drive into a public city street under the law. Monteagle's ordinance does not support treating the narrow drive as a public street. It doesn't even meet the city requirements for an alley. Under the subdivision regulations, Article 7, Section 7.01, the minimum right-of-way width for a local street shall be 50 feet. Section 7.02 requires that any additional right-of-way shall be dedicated by the owner through a properly approved plat process to meet that minimum. Monteagle Municipal Code 16-115 states clearly, no dedication for any street, roadway, or thoroughfare shall be accepted by the town unless said dedication shall contain a grant of right-of-way of 25 feet on both sides of the center line for the minimum total width of 50 feet. Any attempted acceptance in violation of the foregoing is void and of no effect. There was no owner-signed certificate of ownership and dedication for the added right-of-way. No planning commission approved plat that accurately showed these changes, including the building encroachment or the omitted land, and the formal acceptance by the road. Limited evidence cited occasional mowing and personal use by cutting through does not satisfy the 20-year continuous uninterrupted adverse use requirement for the prescriptive public road under the Tennessee law. Our blocking of the drive for several weeks interrupted any claimed public use. As a result, the title for Fox Gun Pond LLC property was altered without due process or compensation, creating a serious cloud in our title. We are seeking an amicable resolution that respects both our property rights and the town's own ordinance. On behalf of Fox Gun Pond LLC, I respectfully request that the board, 1, direct staff and the city attorney to review the 2014 survey plat, deed, our purchase contract with the previous owner, the alderman and surveyor's email, and related planning commission records. Number 2, initiate corrective action such as quit claim deed, amended plat, or resolution that removes the unauthorized 30-foot or 50-foot right-of-way, restores the omitted land to the correct description, and accurately reflects any legitimate narrow private access.
Okay, understood. A few questions.
Yes.
Yes, it will be addressed, and hopefully no later by the next meeting, we can have our research done.
Great, thank you.
Is it your understanding that your deed encompasses that road piece?
It is supposed to, yes.
Is it there?
Yeah,
I was
sure.
gonna do a
If you
survey.
look at the-
Yeah, I'll go through the packet, but
Yes.
you understand that, your understanding is that the road is included in the parcel you bought from Mr. Black?
It was added during the subdivision process.
Okay. And all of that's
And I was never
documented?
told, he was never told, we were not aware that there was this 30-foot right-of-way giving the city the property during the subdivision process.
We'll look at that, and if we have questions, I'll be in touch, and I'll contact the planning commission as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've got a quick question.
Absolutely.
What subdivision, it may not be for you, but what subdivision are you talking about? There was a...
Okay, so Richard Black owned our building, which is Fox,
Yeah.
and then the house next to it, it was one property.
Right.
A portion of it was. We were just doing a simple subdivision, splitting the 2 properties in half. And then when, I didn't realize that during the process of the subdivision, they had added this 30-foot right-of-way, calling it city street, which all city streets in the ordinance are 50-foot right-of-way, not 30-foot right-of-way. It's also 11-foot wide, so it doesn't meet the requirements for any city street or an alley. And really, it's taking our property, the property on the other side of that 11-foot drive is now omitted. It's not deeded to us, it's not, Richard Black doesn't own it anymore, so that's just disappeared. So that property is really...
And this is between yours and Richard's house? Or is this
No,
behind the
so
house?
Fox,
Behind
the business,
Yeah.
is Fox, and then it's directly behind our business. It cuts, there used to be a road, which was First Street, that cut into the assembly.
Mhm.
The assembly blocked it off, and I guess people started to drive down the private drive, which was put in for an access to our garage, when it was I guess it was a drugstore and a hardware store. And now the city is claiming that it is a city street.
Okay. As I said, we'll look into that. As you see, there may be other questions, so we'll be in touch. Thank you. Any other citizens wish to be heard at this time?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mayor?
Fine, thank you.
Miss Debbie, Nate, Hypocrite, Grant, Dean. Hypocrite, I brought you something. You want to hang our officers so damn much, there's your old rope. You're too scared to bring them in here yourself. I'll tell you something. That man right there, a lot of respect for him. We're standing up. You are a joke. I called you a hypocrite last meeting. You walked outside and be a smart ass. I'm the one that played the game.
Excuse me. Are there some comments?
Oh, well, I'm making my comments. I got 3 minutes of my time and I'm going to use it.
Well, I understand, but we don't want any personal attacks. If you have something to say,
I'm allowed
happy
to say
do that.
anything I want to, protected by the Constitution, as long as I don't make a threat.
Yeah, I
So
understand
there you
all
go.
that, but I'm
So
trying
you
to
sit
make-
there and keep your mouth closed a few minutes. Let me have my 3 minutes. I won't interrupt you.
Thank you, but let's
No,
maintain some
it ain't gonna
decorum.
be thank you. I'm gonna say what the hell I want to.
Let's maintain some decorum.
I am maintaining my damn decorum.
Thanks.
I'm tired of the hypocrite shit that's going on up here. Every damn 3 months, Carteron has took your shit for 3 months. 2 hours at a time. Y'all bashed him for 3 months. You couldn't took being called hypocrite for 3 seconds. But you want to stand up here and pray to the people? You better get back in your Bible. Quit the judging, Dan. Smile, Dan.
I'm smiling.
I'm gonna make you famous, buddy. I'm the one. Come after me. Leave these officers alone. They
Same
protect
Bible
your
that says
ass.
I'm a hypocrite says to love your enemies. I love you, Dwight.
I don't love you, Dan. I'm not in the Bible business.
Okay.
You're a hypocrite.
I love you.
Well, if you did, you wouldn't walk outside trying to be a smart ass because I told you what I thought of you.
I meant what I said. I appreciate your
Yeah,
comments.
I
I
meant what I
appreciate
said
them now.
too. You're a damn hypocrite. Lay off of the officers. Monteagle citizens are tired of hearing every damn meeting of our officers. I guess, I remember you said 2 meetings ago that you know what your citizens want. You're gonna stand up for your citizens. I heard every citizen in here last month when you kept on and called it to a vote, clap and cheer for our Monteagle police officers. You don't know your citizens.
They wasn't all in this room.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
ignorant. You're a blum fool.
Any other citizens wish to be heard at this
Keep the
time?
rope, that way you can try to hang them some
Any
more.
other citizens wish to be heard at this time?
Fucking hypocrite.
Thank you.
I don't know about this.
Okay, I
Mayor?
guess it's my, I'm sorry? Oh, Martha?
I'll just stand up and say, I wanted to thank the street staff for keeping the grass mowed. It looks really nice.
Thank you.
Takes a lot of work.
I'll pass that on. All right, I guess it's my turn. Mayor's Communications. Sparkle Week is going to be May 4th to the 8th. Please have whatever there is out Sunday evening. And it's on the internet as what's, it's on the website as what's approved, such things as no paint, no tires, no electronics. The rules have been the same and are the same, so please follow those guidelines. We're not going to pick up things that are not what we can pick up. There are certain disposals of that, and that's what we have to follow. The other thing, we're going to have a Memorial Day remembrance. On Memorial Day, it'll be very short. It'll just be remembering those that have gone before in service to their country. Fresh Mess will start June 4th and go through October 1st, each Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Harton Park. The main meeting, because of Memorial Day, the Mayor and Aldermen will be Tuesday, May 26th. The Planning Commission meeting will be May 7th, because May 5th is a Tuesday, but that's going to be used in this building for primaries for Marion County. Did I say that right? So there's going to be primaries for Marion County residents in this building, May 5th. Therefore, the Planning Commission meeting has been moved to Thursday, May 7th. 4 o'clock, same time, all of that. Another thing that you should know is there's been a change in personnel at the Senior Citizen Center. Danielle, who's been doing a wonderful job of home deliveries and maintaining the meals in the center best she could within the assets provided, has served 2-week notice to the employer, which is Southeast Tennessee Development. We got Danielle through a program for senior citizens and disabled citizens. So I spoke to the director of aging, and we're going to look for someone to replace. We've always liked volunteers. We've been asking for volunteers since the first day I've been here, so whoever can help with any part of senior citizen, that would be appreciated. And I'm sure Southeast Tennessee Development will continue to look for someone to continue the program. So that's all I had for calendar of events and my comments. Let's go with the police department report, please.
Good afternoon, my name is citizens, members of the board. Just got 2 things to go over. First, we'll go over the monthly reports from March 15th to April 15th. We had 1 driving on revoked suspended, 1 resisting arrest. We had 1 domestic call. We had 1 criminal trespass call. We did have 1 attempted suicide. Thankfully, the individual is okay, seeking help. So that is something we're glad to hear about. We've stopped 52 vehicles in that month, issued 21 citations, issued 31 warnings. We had 353 calls for the month. That's down from the previous month, which was 382. And then crashes have went up from the previous month were 6 to 12. I can say that none of those were any serious issues. They were all personal property crashes, like at Walmart, or not Walmart, but Dollar General store, things of that nature. So no significant damage there. We haven't had any, luckily, knock on wood, any major crashes in the last several months. So that's something that we should be proud of here in Monteagle. The other thing I'm going to go over is we have lost 2 officers in the last 2 weeks. We lost our rookie that was top of his class at the academy, and we just lost Chris Vest, and he wanted me to read his resignation letter. It was to me, Chief Rayline. I'm writing this letter not only to tender my resignation, but also clearly state why I have made this decision. My decision to leave is not based on lack of respect for you or the officers who have served this department. To the contrary, I have great respect for the men and women who put the uniform on and do this job the right way, often under difficult circumstances. My reason for leaving is the growing turmoil surrounding the department and the lack of meaningful support being shown its leadership and officers when the act of lawful professionalism and in good faith. It is deeply troubling to watch outside pressure, political influence, and public hostility and personal agendas create an environment where officers in leadership are expected to bend rather than stand on what's right. When a chief is placed in a position of having to defend sound decisions and refuse improper demands, yet receives little support for those who should be standing behind the department, it sends a message to every officer that integrity is conditional and backing is temporary. I do not believe a police department can be functioning effectively when lawful decisions are second-guessed based on who is upset, who's the loudest, or who carries influence in the community. No department can expect to retain good officers if they believe lawful, ethical decisions will be undermined whenever influential voices object. That kind of environment damages morale, weakens leadership, and drives good officers away. It creates instability, not only for the department, but for the town it's sworn to protect. I want to be known that my departure is in large part as a result of the environment. I cannot ignore the ongoing disorder, the public undermine of the department, and the failure of the town leadership to fully support its chief officers in face of unwanted pressure. no department can remain strong when it's expected to sacrifice principle in order to sacrifice politics or personalities. You have my respect for standing firm in your convictions. I hope this letter makes it clear that the consequences of this environment are real. They are affecting retention, morale, and the future of the department. Respectfully, Chris Vest. I can say that, you know, I sat here and listened to the comments earlier. September I'll be here 5 years. Monteagle has some of the greatest people here, period. We're going to disagree, undoubtedly. But if we don't stand together and we don't come up with common, good decisions to fix our problems, then it doesn't get better. You know, I believe that we should work together. We should have these dialogues. We should be answering the questions. We should hold each other accountable, even myself. But we can't continue losing good people, because right now nobody wants to be a police officer. So it's hard to replace police officers right now. And the ones that you get, you might get at the bottom of the barrel. So, like I said, I'm done. He wanted me to read that, so I told him I'd read it.
Thank you. I don't know what to comment. I think everyone, including police officers, deserve our respect and support. If there's an issue, I think we've outlined processes to address those issues. And anything past that, I think, would be very unfortunate. I have made it no secret that I support the police, not only in Monteagle, but across the country. We saw them in action Saturday night. We saw them in action in many other situations. All you have to do is watch the local news. So I thank you for your work and your service, and please extend my personal thanks to the department. If there are issues, I know that you're willing to address them. Thank you. Any other comments from any council member?
Thank you, Chief.
I have a couple comments. I support the work that you do and your officers, and have great respect for the Monteagle Police Department. I do think that we always need to make sure that we're treating everybody fair. And in that vein, I want to thank Tony Gillum and Miss Becky Byers for telling me to call the district attorney's office after the last meeting.
Right.
I have called the district attorney's office. I can report that the investigator for the district attorney's office, George Dyer, has reviewed the video of the arrest of Rodney Kilgore and that was made by Sergeant Carteron. He has reviewed it several times, and he found no criminal activity on the part of Sergeant Carteron, and there is no investigation for the district attorney's office. And he shared his cell phone number with me. He's happy to talk to any of the members of the council who would like to follow up with him. I can share that with y'all afterwards. Also, we did, in the last several meetings, we've been talking about process when there are complaints on an officer. As you are probably aware, we did have a written complaint
Correct.
that came to you.
Mm-hmm.
For my benefit, I remember that you laid out a process when the complaint is made to the chief.
Correct.
Can you tell us again what that process is that you have laid out?
Absolutely. So if it's a criminal complaint, it would go to the district attorney. So the criminal complaint would go to them, they would investigate it, and they would determine whether or not there was any criminal activity there. And then they would report back to the mayor, not the chief, because they would only report to me if there was not anything, found. If there was something there, then it would go there, then I could put on, I'm assuming, administrative leave until the investigation was done. But on anything other than that, it gets investigated by, if we had an oversight committee, which we don't currently, or whoever investigates that. So I provided all the information. I went and got a FOIA request for the video. I've also got the reports. All the stuff that I've got, I handed it over to Mayor Greg Maloof late last, or whenever it was. He's reviewing it. I've taken myself out of it, completely out of it. So that's going to be between you guys to review and do whatever.
As a response to the written complaint?
Correct.
Well, just so that everybody's on the record, that investigator for the district attorney's office is happy to review that complaint and share it with the district attorney and see whether there is any criminal activity that would be involved in that. So we have that as an option should we choose to do that.
Sorry.
Well, for what it's worth, I believe, Nate, I made that announcement at a prior meeting, that I also have contacted the investigator at the district attorney's office, who gave me the exact same report, which I passed on at that time. So thank you for reiterating my work. But I take this stuff seriously. I follow up quickly. I was away last week. I will be reviewing the situation presented to me and get back with replies. So thank you one and all, but I'm trying very hard to keep up with these complaints because I take them seriously. So thank you for repeating my work. Anything else, Chief?
I'm good.
Thank you. Fire
you, guys.
Department?
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, AJ. Go ahead.
So, underneath working for this town, I'm just a person, right? And these meetings are, thank you guys for sitting here and listening to such ignorant stuff that you all listen to, that we have to deal with. So I applaud the citizens tonight for sticking with us. And hopefully we'll get everything sorted out. And it's almost humiliating to come to the meetings. I'm almost embarrassed. I done this shit in kindergarten. So anyway, my report, we had 61 calls from March of 26. 39 of those calls were fire calls, 22 were medical calls. The medical stuff, it's really helping us. It's really our helping the community. So we stay pretty busy with the medical stuff, which we knew we would. We have AJ and myself runs day shift. We're on the salary anyway, so it's really not coming out of the volunteer account. The volunteer fund, they get $15 per call. So the overnight calls, you may pick up one or two calls, $30 or $40, or $30 or $45 that may come out of the volunteer account, the allotment. But other than that, I mean, we're here, so we run the calls through the days and the staff, so it works out pretty good. We're working great with EMS and kind of provided, vitals and reports to them and help them load and whatever they need. So it's been a pretty good program so far. The department's been busy painting fire hydrants. I think I told you last month, roughly we painted 55 hydrants this month so far. We've been in the Summerfield and Trussell Road area, working our way through. So when we paint these hydrants, we exercise them, we turn them on and off and work the valves and see if any of them's broke. We also paint other than beautification of the fire hydrant. I know it doesn't mean anything, dogs pee on them, but anyway, we paint them, we take care of them. But the bonnet on top of them is color coded, and those color codes is NFPA flow rates, right? Those NFPA flow rates goes in turn to the ISO. The ISO is how you guys get cheaper insurance rates. So there's a big spill that goes into the fire hydrants. It's not so much the water that comes out of them, it's insurance rate savings, and everything has to be working hand in hand. So we've been busy with that. We also went over and pressure washed and painted the Monteagle landing zone. John Conner used to paint the landing zone pretty regular, but we took it over this year so we could pressure wash it and kind of put some young hands into it. It turned out really good, so that's done and taken care of. And we've also taken delivery of the extrication tools I told you about last month that we received on the grant. That was about, I think, $45,000 worth of tools, so they're on service and on the trucks now and ready to go. That's about all I've got for fire. We've been busy with the hydrants, so I don't have much to report on it.
Any questions on the fire report?
Thank y'all for watering the grass.
Yes, thank you guys for the grass. So the grass and the trees has been planted at the fire hall, and we're more excited than we thought we were. We've taken sprinklers to it, and we've actually sowed some grass seed, and we're looking for a picnic table and to build a picket fence around our AC unit and kind of blend in with the aesthetics. So we're pretty excited about the grass. Anyway, so thank you all that participated in the
It's the simple things in life.
It's the simple.
Okay, building inspector and codes?
Building inspections, I'll skip it, AJ can have the mic. Building inspections, I've done 8 residential permits issued, 16 inspections been completed with 4 permits, certificate of occupancies issued. 1 of those being commercial, 3 of them was residential. The Mountain Inn case has been through the municipal hearing process. The property owner, along with the board and the city attorneys, have orchestrated a plan to allow the property owners a cleanup procedure for corrective action. This will begin around August, no later than August, and should be completed by November. So that all worked out well for us. Questions on buildings? Yes, sir.
We had talked last month or the month before that after Mountain Inn was our priority case, and
Yes.
after it was, had the hearing, which is as far as we can go now, and then that, there was an agreement that, if you want to tell us what the agreement was, that the landowner is going to clean that up?
Yes.
Or does the record kind of tell us?
So the orchestrated plan that Mr. Lay's mentioning, so the property owner did come to the meeting, you know, our hearing board for our ordinance is your board of aldermen and mayor. We conducted the meeting with the city attorney. He kind of ran the meeting and went back and forth with it. All of us had a chance to talk and speak. The property owner was actually taking bids on demolition process. He presented us with a contract that was signed by a demo company. That will begin in August, like I was telling you. No later than August is what the plan. This was actually a resolution that I actually served on the Mountain Inn day before yesterday, Friday, somewhere in there. But anyway, this went through from the city attorney through the city, so it's all written. It's a recorded action. Supposed to begin in August. It'll go all the way down to the grass. It'll be a full site remediation, and that should be done by November. So it was satisfactory. The property owner took responsibility himself, and we're just kind of monitoring through the process.
Next, you had said, when we were talking about that we were going to go down the list, that
Yes.
that had top priority, but you have other properties
Yes.
on the list that may require hearings.
Yes.
And
So there are two residentials right now. We're working on Winston Avenue. AJ's going to give you a report. I'll just talk about Winston Avenue. There's two residential properties on Winston Avenue near the cemetery. Both of those property owners has given us corrective action plans. One of them involves a house demolition. That was one that was on the list, as well as a dumpster be delivered and clean up the full side over there on Winston Avenue. The other one's building a screening fence and trying to get his stuff taken care of and sorting out what he wants to keep. And so far, everything's working out well for us. We'll see how it goes. We'll just have to stick with it and monitor it and see where we go with it. Then I'm gonna move over to North Bluff. There's a house on North Bluff. I've dealt with a temporary condemnation in the past. That'll come in, and then there's one more commercial building on the other side of the interstate that we're gonna talk about and see if we can get a resolution on that as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there a timeline on the Winston Avenue ones?
So we've heard timelines in the past. Right now we've been told 3 weeks. So I'm going by the good old fashioned handshake method, and we'll see where 3 weeks brings us and visit it again.
Travis, they're working on it right now.
They are working. I wasn't gonna report that, but like John said, they are working on it right now. They've been busy with it. I rode by today, matter of fact, and looked at it this afternoon, and they are making progress on it. So, and as long as they're making progress, I believe in, you know, like I told you last time, I believe in education and helping them. These people need help and, you know, motivation, not somebody to hinder them. Anyway. Codes enforcement.
So for codes, I had one commercial property that inquired about a sign permit in the middle of town. We dealt with that. They put the sign up. We advised them of the sign ordinance, the chapter 9 and all that. Took the sign down. It was impeding 70-foot rule for intersection and stuff, so they took that down, placed it off-site inside the building, so it can still be displayed there. They'll come back and meet with us about a permit and a better replacement for it. There was another property that Travis was talking about with condemnation that's over on the other end of town, Parks Avenue area. That's got dogs and stuff that's running at large. We dealt with that. He's got a condemnation on that. I'm assuming he'll follow up with that after the Mountain Inn as well, with his North Bluff and stuff. And then he mentioned the two on Winston Avenue. I believe the last time I talked, there's supposed to be a dumpster there this week. Later this week, be a dumpster, and that takes care of one. And like Travis said, fence and some other stuff. We'll get them Title 7 fence and all that, so they can cover all the fence stuff, make sure they do it properly. Anything under 7 foot, no building permit, anything more, and they can follow that ordinance and go from there with that.
Any questions on ordinance?
You have everything you need from the town council as far as to enforce these rules and regulations and educate the people.
So that's what we've done on both of them on Winston. We educated one a little more than the other with the fence and stuff, and how they can do other things to remediate their property right through our code. We went ahead and provided them that code, that way they have something to do guidance off of.
Well, for many years, the city has been lax in enforcement.
Right.
And then there would be a time when the city would want to enforce, and then that would kind of dwindle away. So people get a mixed message.
Right.
And I think continuity in the enforcement will be a great thing down the road for people to know. And it seems like you guys are doing a good job in making that known to them.
Right, yeah, just anything that the citizens or anybody needs, just come up. You can go through City Hall to the switchboard and call me and Travis, and just feel free to ask me anything. I know they keep a copy at City Hall of all the ordinance, so if they can't get it, we can, or vice versa. Whatever works. Like I said, that one on Wednesday, instead of letting him do the work and then us having to go serve him again, we just went ahead and gave him all the documentation, and we try to give everybody options, right? So if instead of just doing this way and then coming back 2 weeks later and finding out that they done it this way and not don't follow the ordinance, just go ahead and learn them something, give them some options, and then we'll work with them from there on.
Is Travis okay?
Yeah, so in reference to what Dean had mentioned, I was gonna go farther with this, but since we're in a meeting, Rayline's standing next to me, so in this whole process with the Mountain Inn case, right? So under Monteagle ordinance, Dean had asked if we had everything we had to work with, right? So if you read the Monteagle ordinance, the way it specifies in the ordinance, if I go serve someone to court, I basically serve them on a piece of paper and sign my name, and that's considered your summons to court. It's about as good as the paper's written on. I mean, in layman's terms, because I have no special powers not as a police officer, but special powers for the city on behalf of the enforcement side. So now I have to get one of his guys, a police officer, to go serve the paperwork, right? And then he has to put them into court, and then I have to come to court. Well, the judge is going to want to hear from the pushing officer. I'm just the middleman at that point. So if you guys need to pass some kind of ordinance resolution, whatever you put into effect, to put me as a special police officer, and this is coming from the city attorney, that would give me the powers to do that all on my own, just like I've been doing, and cut them completely out of it. Now I'm testifying on my own cases.
And the reason for that is because we may not know or be able to articulate everything that his brain knows, so we wouldn't want to muddy the waters with two different testimonies, and possibly lose something that we were trying to get upheld. So that would be the reason.
Right.
Travis, now that I'm back, I'll get with you on that. That's important to do.
Yes.
But while you and Chief Rayline are here in AJ, this is as good a time as any as to sing some praises. I think Travis taking on the medical side of lift assists and getting to places before the ambulance does, or the EMTs, or whatever all those designations are, has been a tremendous boon to the city. I know that you've had a lot of calls all the time, regardless of time of the day, and I want it noted that you and the police department and even the folks at the water plant and sewer plant, I think we've been especially blessed with the loyalty of our employees. So I thank you for that, and I'll let water and sewer and the road department know as well. It's not easy, not everyone is looking for work nowadays. So we're thankful for volunteers and thankful for the people that stay with us. So thank you for all that you all do. Okay, Martin, Parks and Rec? Nothing? Okay. Utility manager, John, you have anything?
I have nothing.
Any questions from the alderman of Parks or Utility?
Yes, sir. Where are we on rainfall, drought potential, water running over the spillway today?
I think I don't keep up with that stuff about the water plant.
Okay. Well, let me redirect that, I guess, to us. On the news, there's other communities now are saying that their expectations are that there's going to be less rainfall, and this is the end of the cycle of a 10-year cycle or 5-year cycle or whatever. Yes. But I would assume that we would need to, someone would need to have some information before it gets critical, and that we try to get ahead of it and there's be proactive in our water purchase from Tracy City, and I think Nate had been involved in talking with the people at Cooley's. They were wanting to change their contract a little bit. There's some other things, but I think there should be, somebody should report every day the lake level especially when the water drops below the spillway.
So,
Well, okay, go ahead. And then I'll chime in.
yeah, the Cooley's Rip Board, a couple members of the board approached me about being open to thinking about changing their contract, and it mostly relates to the water that's spilling over their dam. So one of the Cooley's Rift landowners is currently tracking daily when water is running over the dam and when it's not running over the dam, to help us understand whether it might be possible to say, okay, well, if it's running over the dam at Lake Louisa, but it's not at Laurel Lake, then could we then begin to pump a little earlier? And then I reached out to you, Dean, about, because you have property that we would need to get an easement from, and Dean has graciously expressed a willingness to perhaps put an easement in so that we could get a raw water line through and over to Laurel Lake. We haven't taken any action on that. We're collecting data right now. I did look at the long-range forecast for today with the National Weather Service, and the 4-week outlook, thankfully, is for above-average rainfall. We'll see if it plays out. I would like to know the lake levels, and one of the things that the project that Grant and I were involved in with Resilient Communities, we now have until May 1st to write a grant application to do some things to help the community better understand water. And one of the things we have talked about is being able to install some equipment at Laurel Lake so that everybody in the community could know on a day-by-day basis what the lake level is, how much capacity is there. So I'll be working on that grant. I would say we probably wouldn't have it installed until probably the fall, but hopefully it'll at least raise some awareness. Doesn't grow us more water, but it helps people understand. So it's a good point.
Dean and I have been in touch with Big Creek and Tracy. We refined our drought plan. They're on standby, but you need rain no matter where you're getting water from. The problem with Cooley's is piping to Laurel Lake instead of running over land. I think we've discussed that from time to time. So it'll take some more work, and I wasn't aware of the grant that you're working on, so maybe you can sit down with me and bring me up to date on that. But yeah, we're working on a drought plan. Conservation is always an issue, whether it rains or not. We are not allowed to build a second lake. I've gone to the commissioner my first month of office back in '22 and asked for permission to build a lake, and he said, no, we can't disturb the environment, et cetera, et cetera. So he suggested a third water tank at the west end of town as a stopgap. And he said, buy from your neighbor. I said, well, we're doing that, and we're treating their sewage. So we're working together best we can, but if drought restrictions kick in, I'll have to broadcast those to you. But right now, we're on a updated drought plan with Big Creek and Tracy. Swanee is something yet to be negotiated from what I understand. So that's the best I can tell you about water, Dean, and
What about the rest area situation there?
do what?
The rest area, are they?
Still have not heard from TDOT, and I don't know if, I told them more than once that I have a lot of citizen inquiries. I told them more than once there's nothing from Monteagle to Nashville as far as the rest area, other than getting off the highway and hoping a gas station bathroom is available. So I don't know. I will continue to chase them.
Would we need to go in a different direction to try to get some resolution on this? Or?
Sure. Anyone that wants to call the governor, TDOT, I've been doing that as well, and you get the usual answers that they're studying
But
it.
it's supposedly a pump issue, is that?
It was supposedly a leak issue under the interstate. There are valves on both ends. One is tied to the other, so if you shut down one, you're shutting down the other. And that's the best I can get out
But
of it.
they're on 1 meter.
1 meter.
And Debbie, the report I asked for was for, what, through 24?
It's 1 year.
Yeah, and they were one of our larger customers, which if you're in a drought, you're glad they're shut off. If you've got water running over the spillway, you want them to be using water.
And paying us for it.
Yes, and they are a $50,000 a year customer, in excess of that. That's what it was in 2024. And then
I did come up the the mountain the other day, and there were 2 or 3 what looked like contractor trucks there. So I got encouraged. I don't know anything about what they were doing, but they seemed like maybe it was the right move.
Okay.
Okay.
Also,
What?
I've been told by the employees, and just in general, they're not crying about it, but we didn't discuss it in our budget thing, they didn't ask for it. But we're talking about the cost of work boots has gone up, I guess because of tariffs or whatever. And I think we currently have a $150 boot allowance. Does that sound correct, Debbie?
Yes.
And then I don't know anything about the cost of work boots, safety boots, but I've been told by 2 or 3 different sources that you cannot buy a decent pair of work boots for $150. So before we do the final budget stuff, if the council wants to visit that, we would need to get some numbers from the departments about their how much of an increase that would be to consider.
Most of the ones that have been turned into me are more than $200.
Yeah. Well, I know nothing about it, so.
Well, May 11th would be a good time to look into that, and I'll try to get information before that.
Okay. And I think that's all I got on the utility.
John, how'd they like the second screw press? I went to the first one, I didn't see the second one.
Well, it done all right. I mean, it done good. They liked it because you see the mixture and all. First when they brought the seal, but you couldn't see the polymer working. They liked the second one better.
Okay, that's what they were thinking they were gonna happen. So
Well, I didn't hear that. I got the impression that they were more impressed with the second one.
That's what I
Is that what you said? Fine, thank you.
It was a little bigger one too.
It's bigger, it seemed to put out a little cleaner, easier for maintenance as well, et cetera, what you and I discussed. Okay, street department, I'm getting prices on striping. I have some lists of streets, we're working on that as well. As you know, we're looking at streets that will not be impacted by I&I Phase 2 and sewerage work. So we're going over those roads as best we can. According to Marion County, for asphalt, which is what they require, it's $100,000 per mile. Grundy County requires chip and tar, and that's $50,000 per mile. So I'm assuming that's 2 lanes wide and 5,000 plus feet long. So we're working on those prices. Obviously, it will take some research and finding the proper road to treat first. So that's it for the street. We did that. Planning Commission, I don't have anything that I'm aware of other than to finalize this checklist that we're about to approve. I hope we had a public hearing. What we're trying to do is track all the documents necessary. Once you pass the Planning Commission, that's fine, but there are so many steps after that that need tracking, and we've set up mechanisms for that. Beautification and tree board. Oh, so you reserved your time for beautification. Lucy, are you here for the tree board?
Martha and Scott,
Oh, okay.
everything we need. I think so.
Is this on? It doesn't sound like. We've got several things going, and one of them is this coming Saturday, come help pick up litter.
This is a project that folks from Cooley's Rift have volunteered for, not to steal your thunder,
Yes,
but
I was going to mention that. Donna Froschmeyer is here. She's on the planning committee from Cooley's Rift. They came up with the idea, contacted Imagine Monteagle, and they are in charge. I'm just supporting. One thing that we have discussed in our meetings is that there's several places around town that we can't pick up the trash. And one of those is the side of Builder's Supply. And I didn't want to, I didn't know whether the fire department, the chief has ever dealt with, it looks awful. And it's right off of our main drag. So, yeah.
So I actually, Becky and Ms. Byers had mentioned it to me a month or so ago, and I called Mike at Builders. He was real responsive. He's gonna have his guys go up and start painting. They did start painting on the back side. He's gonna try to get
The side that faces the
yeah, the
Baptist
south
church.
side
Yeah.
that is clean. So he's aware, he knows.
Good, good. Is it, yeah, good. Tourism, we're going to have a bike audit in a week or two where several of us are gonna ride bikes around town. And I don't know what we're gonna do. Ira's gonna tell us as we drive around. Dean and Grant and I met with Thomas Brown from Atlanta, who is a landscape architect, and he's helping us plan out what a Veterans Memorial might look like. And the expense for him was approved at the last meeting, and he's gonna give us some ideas. So we're looking forward to hearing that. The fire hall mural, beautification's gonna be talking with Keith on Wednesday about what his proposals are. And I'll let you talk about the other thing that's gonna come up. And Linda Burkhart is gonna talk about what we have been talking about with the Monteagle Market. Y'all may remember that she was asked to be the connector between the council.
First, thank you for allowing me to speak this evening as an extension of the beautification committee. I am, in case anyone has forgotten, Linda Burkhart, liaison between the city of Monteagle and the South Cumberland Chamber of Commerce for the Monteagle Mountain Market. As I think everyone knows, this event will be held on Saturday, July 25th and Sunday, July 26th at Hannon-Pickett Park. A budget for advertising is currently being worked out. And currently, the chamber is talking to the original designer about how to add arts and crafts to the signage that already exists. And I'm mainly referring to the long sign that was used at the corner of Main Street and Highway 41. And I was wanting to know if this, you don't have to answer me right now, but would be willing to cover the cost of this change, providing it is reasonable. I can get back to you with the cost. And it's not doing a whole new sign, it's doing some kind of an addition to each side, something like that. Other ideas have been used. Maybe use a local radio station to advertise, and while this might be cost prohibitive, another idea would be to ask either the Rooster or the Duck to broadcast from here on Saturday the 25th. Local newspapers, Facebook, and signage around the Granby County 9 communities should be without cost or reasonable, and even down in South Pittsburgh and some of the other areas around. There will be possibly 2 tents this year, but they will be moved back towards the pavilion to allow for a better and the much needed parking. There is hope that there could be a collaboration between the city of Monteagle and possibly tourism to provide music on Saturday night. This would keep people around the area after the market closes for the evening. Plus, it would give vendors the opportunity to have a place to get together. Food trucks could stay open to accommodate those in attendance. The band would need to be set up on a flatbed as the stage in the pavilion would not be available. Thoughts are welcome on this. The Coffee and Cars event that happens on the 3rd Saturday of the month here in Monteagle from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. has been asked if it could move to the last Saturday, thus bringing more people to the market. An author's tent has been added this year. At this time, it seems that there are several signed up. And there is an opportunity for the authors to speak and an entertainer to keep the sessions moving along. Vendors are still being sought. A few of us will be out scouting as festivals pop up. If anyone in the audience or listening knows of people who would like to be a vendor, please contact the South Cumberland Chamber of Commerce, or let me know. I'm easy to find, Facebook, and I'm also on Messenger. To make the Monteagle Mountain Market a successful event this year and going forward, many of us would like to ask for a positive connection. Contributions of money, time, commitment, and ways to promote are welcome. To be more forward, is there even a possibility that the city could provide some monetary support? I'm happy to provide additional information as it becomes available. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to answer that, when you get some figures or anything, if you could get in touch with me, we need to sit down and go over that.
Absolutely.
I'd need to know before, say, May 10th.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
One quick question. We have planned in July, every Saturday, we're doing the Music in the Park, which is going to be here at Hannah Pickett Park, but for the last weekend, we moved it up to Harton Park because of the show, the market being here. I wonder if we could figure out possibility of just moving that band back down, that Saturday night band the last weekend there, instead of from Harton, moving down back here to Hannah Pickett Park. If we could find the flatbed and the equipment, the power and things like that. And that way we don't have to have dueling bands same night. So that's something, Martha Ann, if you could put that on the agenda for the Beautification and Tourism meeting in a week and a half. We can talk through that and see if that's going to be a possibility, and that might help out.
That was our hope.
On the funding for either the sign or something else, this is one of the reasons council members that we talked about adding a line item, if you will, for Imagine Monteagle. This would be a typical example of one where we would use some funds out of the money that was hopefully going to get allocated for that. So this year we don't have that built into the thing, so the mayor will have to find some money to help out if we can. But just want to let everybody know that this is a good example of where some of that money would be used under the Imagine Monteagle line item.
Didn't we have a conversation about bringing in Jason Lee Wilson for this last event? Or am I confusing that with
4th of July.
He's 4th of July, okay. I was confusing with another event.
Rand, do you want to keep going with Imagine Monteagle?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot going on, but I'm only going to kind of update you on two main things that we've got working on right now. As I told you guys the last couple of months, we've got 5 or 6 projects that we have started and are looking for funding for, and are slowly but surely kind of moving our way along with these projects. 2 of them, I mentioned last month, we got the money for the Tennessee 250 grant for the mural at the fire hall. That's going to pretty up the grass that Travis is so proud of. And we, as Martha Ann mentioned, we're going to be meeting with the artist that's going to be doing the mural on the side of the fire hall. We will be meeting with him at the beautification meeting in a week and a half. And I've already talked to him. He's already started his renderings and stuff, so he's moving along. There is a big possibility that might even get completed before the end of this summer. So that would be a great boost, great visual boost, tangible boost that'll everybody can kind of wrap their heads around and see some progress. The second thing I'll mention, the other project that we've got going on is the welcome sign and incorporated with the welcome sign, Welcome to Monteagle sign, sculpture, a piece of sculpture from a nationally recognized artist. And she is, we paid through private funding to have her come up with the rendering and do all of her initial work. And she's going to be presenting that work at the meeting on, is it May 13th? May 13th, at the Beautification and Tourism meeting. We will have an opportunity to see it, to make some comments, see if there's some adjustments that need to be made to better fit the community. And then once everybody gives a thumbs up, then we will be moving forward with a grant for that we feel pretty good about. That could be funded by the middle of August. So we're hoping, fingers crossed. I think this is going to be a pretty good rendering. So Martha Ann included all of the aldermen and the mayor on the invite for the Beautification and Tourism meeting, May 13th. I don't know, a question for the council, if we obviously grant money, no matching funds for this sculpture and sign, is this something that also it's going to be placed on not town property? Is this something that we need a resolution for? Do we need any kind of council thumbs up, thumbs down? Or is this just something that is I'm not sure if there's anything formal that the council needs to.
I don't know whether to call it formal. I'd like something where we show the future that we said okay to this.
Yeah,
I don't know how to put that in English, but whether it's a resolution or consensus or whatever you want to call it.
Well, my plan was, hopefully you all can come to the meeting on the 13th, and we're going to get the Imagine Monteagle Committee and tour, which includes tourism and beautification and art. All of us will be giving the thumbs up and saying, yes, we like this or don't like this, but, and I would like to then present the rendering at the May meeting just to the public and again to all of you, but I didn't know if we needed any kind of formal resolution for something like this.
As I say, I would like to, just for histrionics and moving forward, that back in 2026 they decided to do this. It's my thought, but whatever you all decide.
So is a kiosk a sign?
No, this is not a kiosk. This is a sign and sculpture. The kiosk, the patio that he's referring to, it's another project.
Well, just the reason I said that is that a sign that is placed on someone else's property needs to be for tourism, which seems like we got it in spades, and it needs to be approved by the BZA. So that would be a formal process, but probably not a necessary one, but just, that's how our ordinance.
And we would have this sculpture and sign would be going in the Mountain Goat Trail Lines property in the corner over here. So we can go through, I don't know, if somebody could just research if we need to go to BZA, that's great. If we need to go to Planning Commission, that's fine. If we need something formal here.
For helping me learn that ordinance. You'll remember that.
Well, then if you would look at that, since it's going to be Mountain Goat property,
yes.
Then if you'd look at it and tell us what we need.
Yeah, probably depends on who owns it.
I've already talked to Patrick Dean about this. We've talked about it several times, and he will be writing us a letter when we apply for the grant for gifts, saying that we have permission to use the easement on their plot.
But it will be a town sculpture?
It would be not a town funded, but it would be, yes, it would belong to the town, I guess.
Yes.
So who maintains it when it breaks?
Excuse me. Martha Ann?
I think that the Mountain Goat Trail Alliance needs an official something related to this, since it's their property, so that in their governance, they have, this was approved for the town to have it here.
Yes, but
You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
your point, who's paying for it? Who's getting the grant, the town?
The town would be receiving the grant, yes. We would be the funnel for the grant money.
And paying the contractor, whoever.
Yes, and reimbursing with the money, yes, that's true.
Well, then I say it's the town's.
Yeah, I think it will belong to the town, so but the town won't be paying for it. So if we could just figure out whether that's a resolution or a motion or some sort of adoption or something like that, I will work with the Mountain Goat Trail Lines folks and see if they have any kind of formality that they need to go through.
Okay.
Just wanted to bring that up. And then just one more thing, the kiosk patio that we were talking about that Nate had mentioned, which is the information patio that we're going to be building next to the Mountain Goat Trail. It'll be close to the welcome sign and have placards that has information from a historical standpoint, from businesses, maps, trail maps, and things like that. We applied for a grant for that. We did a pre-application, and we were awarded an opportunity to apply for the actual grant now, which is actually a pretty positive, very positive step. So Tammy Moore and I are working on that to get that in by May 22nd, and hopefully we find out sometime in June, maybe.
18th.
June 18th, whether we're awarded the money for that, and we're putting all the bids together from the contractors and stuff. So that's Imagine Monteagle right now.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on Imagine Monteagle from council? All right, Alderman report, Dean?
I've got a couple of things that's, some of it's on the agenda on down, but first thing I'd want to talk about is the town council is obligated to be the oversight of the town of Monteagle, the business itself. We have over $4 million budget in our general fund and our utility. We have 30-something employees. We have different departments. For instance, in the last audit that was completed, we received that audit that ended June 30th of 25, so we were kind of running behind on the audit, but we have our budgets and stuff, but something that is documented is the audit. And for instance, in Parks and Recreation, for that period of time, it was $121,430, but $100,000 of it was a grant through Mountain Goat Trail, I think. So the actual money that was spent in Parks and Recreation that year was $23,000. And so the reason I'm saying this is to kind of give comparisons to other things. And usually one of our biggest departments as far as expenditures is the Monteagle Police Department. And that same period of time, theirs was $623,000. The fire department was $123,000. And so our payroll this year, and we don't have an audit to back this up other than I guess our W-2s at the end of the year, is the town of Monteagle will have a payroll in excess of $1 million. And so when we come up here and we fuss and growl and we step on somebody's toes because it's the police department or it's the utility department, it can be the fire department, it can be Parks and Recreation, it can be the utility, street department. There's problems in all of them. And we have people, Debbie, you have people call City Hall complaining about utility bills or misreadings or... And so my point is, there's issues in every department we have. And we have, hopefully, we have employees that can help take care of this. And sometimes there's problems there. And not every time is it in the police department. Sometimes it's in the utility department or maybe in the street department. We've got an issue that's been brewing for 6 or 8 months that this council has put on the back burner about using a vehicle for private use. And perhaps even a theft of property. When it comes to the police department, they're the most seen, I would say, and the largest number of employees. But we have in our policies, personnel policies and procedures, we have adopted that. We're looking at updating that, and had talked about it last month, and it had been tabled for some additional study. But going back to the police department, we, the council and citizens, should have the right to stand up and support them, to stand up and say, I think one has done wrong, or say nothing at all, and you still should have your right. Your rights are protected if it's the police department. The Constitution protects you there. But it's Monteagle Police Department has always been a little controversy in it over the years. And you folks that's been here 40, 50 years can remember different chiefs of police from Bill Malone, Howard Gibbons, Joe Sons, Howard Dunley, Lee Parker, and there's always flare-ups in that, and we always work through those, and sometimes they're handled different ways. In part of the case here now that's dealing with the police department, the federal court, it's in that system. They will decide if there's any merit to anything that's happened on part of it. On any private complaints filed, I think the council, as part of its oversight, needs to be the first step in looking at it and talking with the officer about it, and then come to a conclusion of what the next steps should be. But I think it's unfair for people just to single out one department in the town of Monteagle. And I assure you, there's problems in any business. If you're a business person, you know that. And there's room for improvement, and it's easy to, to coach from the sideline. I think it was Grant told me, for every action, there's a reaction or something. Did you tell me that, Grant?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'll take credit for it.
Okay. But anyway, I think, we should have a shared vision of our community that it's where we're proud to live, and we want to pick up the garbage on Saturday, and we want to be nice to people if we stop them in a patrol car, or if we go read their water meter, we want to read it accurately. We want to be decent human beings. And I think surely we've got that in us to where we can disagree on the merits and still be civil to one another. And if we can't, it's I guess we just fight like cats and dogs, I guess.
And the town gets that reputation, which isn't always advantageous. But as you know in business, and as business people know, probably the largest expense is payroll.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's fair to say we're trying to address issues as they come up, but other, perhaps more pressing issues have been taking up some time. We're still, as far as I'm concerned, in a catch-up mode with a lot of areas, including personnel and payroll. So,
Now,
any other comments?
The other issues I've got is is in the agenda.
Fine, thank you. Grant?
I just realized something that, listening to Dean talk about the personnel policy, I don't see it on the agenda. And we had tabled it last month, but we already have the language for it. And I think the language that we were waiting on got added. That's been already added, so I guess why is the personnel policy not on the agenda tonight?
I didn't know the language was added, and I didn't know that they got a final word from MTS.
Yeah, we talked about that in 2 of the workshops that we had.
Well, yes, we talked about it.
Well, no, I mean, we came up with the language.
And that was approved?
Well,
By
we needed
MTS or
MTS
somebody?
approval.
We were hoping to approve it tonight.
Yeah, that's-
Oh, well,
and I was,
it's hard for me when I don't hear from people except month to month that, I can do those things. I'll put it on the agenda, we'll address it, and I'll look at the language that you say was approved and added.
I would, well, I guess this has been bugging me for a while. We've been tossing this thing around for like 4
Yeah,
months.
I know.
And I was a little disappointed last month when we didn't do a first reading, but I understand that Nate was trying to put in the evaluation language.
Okay.
And so we wrote that language in the workshop. And I guess I'm maybe concerned or confused why we can't go ahead and vote on this. Doesn't have to be an agenda item to pull this up to, because we've all read the policy several times, and the new language that they put in was all talked about, and we wrote it while we were all sitting there in the workshop.
Did we table it?
We tabled.
And then we can bring it back
But you
up.
can't make decisions at workshops, and for us to play author, I think
Right.
we should review things.
I understand that, but we tabled it last month, and I'd like to bring it up right now, to have
And
a
I think it
vote
should
on
be
the
brought up
first reading.
properly at the next meeting with a first reading.
For new business tonight. While you're talking about workshops, if I may, since I said that's through, but Sam Elliott, when he was here for the hearing on the motel, I asked him about the sunshine law compliance.
Yeah, I saw that.
And everyone should have a copy of this, and I would ask that this be put in the minutes for next month about him telling us about what we should be doing with workshops that we have not been doing. And just briefly, it has definition of a meeting, and this is workshop, city meeting, or anything else, according to what he said. Any gathering, whether in person, by phone, or electronically, of a quorum of a governing body to deliberate or take action on public business is a meeting. Adequate public notice must be given for all meetings. Includes 48 hours previous publication of an agenda and sticking with it. Minutes must be promptly and fully recorded, reflecting all motions, proposals, votes, and attendees. Public voting for some those where we have not been voting. Public access, it must be open. If the body decides to close a portion, there are exceptions, like but not limited to active attorney-client litigation. They must follow strict legal procedures.
We all got the letter, and we will start that policy
Well,
immediately.
the other thing I asked him, and he did not address, is I said, do we need to self-report ourselves for violation of sunshine? And he was opposed to that. And he said, no, we need to leave that alone. And then I asked him another question about the business we had discussed in those workshops, and he said they could be ruled as void. And if you look up TCA, part of it, 8-44-105, says any action taken at a meeting in violation of this part shall be void and of no effect, provided that this notification of actions taken at such meetings shall not apply to any commitment otherwise legal affecting the public debt of the entity concerned. And there's a whole lot more of it, and everybody can look it up. But the whole gist of this is, we have all these workshops, and some of them are advertised, some of them are not. There's no minutes kept. There's nothing. You cannot go back in the city record anywhere in Monteagle and find out anything that was discussed at a workshop. And then the law says you cannot do that. And whether we like it or don't like it, that is the law, and we need to go to that.
And I just said, we will be doing that. But I think we've all agreed over the years that you do not make decisions at workshops. So we get information and move forward from that point on. But thank you. Do you have anything else to add?
We have violated the law.
Well, not intentionally. I was told that we advertised the workshop.
We have some, but that's not
I
all
was told that
of
we
it.
do, well, and I also know that we put out the agenda 48 hours before.
Do we keep minutes? Do we record it?
No, but I don't know what you're keeping minutes for if you don't take action. We can have
I don't
comments.
know.
Well, I'll be happy to look into that, and I've made a note to call Sam and get further clarification.
And I've asked on a couple of occasions, and if what we're doing, and one of them was with the engineer on a very important matter, a big ticket item.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry I missed that first thing. Go ahead.
Well, anything else?
Well, then I guess if we're not, if nobody's willing to bring it up tonight, then I want to make sure that it gets put on the agenda for May. There's no reason for this to keep going on.
Well, there's got to be two readings of it, don't there?
Right. I don't know why we can't do a reading tonight. I mean,
Well, you can if you make a motion. We may, if that gets
Well,
thrown
no,
out.
if it's not on the agenda, and I'm not fully aware of all of it, I'd like the time to review it. So we'll put it on the May 26th agenda as a first reading of whatever you're all proposing.
I mean, Mayor, you've gone over this. We've talked about it for 4 months.
We've gone over it. I'm not sure I've seen the finished product.
So you have reviewed the finished product because we've talked about the finished product in its final form for the last 2 months. This is the language that
Nate,
we went over.
Nate,
It's 3 sentences.
thank you. If you don't mind, I'd like to put it over till the May meeting. I don't see an urgency right now. Thank you. Anything else, Graham?
no, but I will go for the record that I object to the fact that we can't talk about this and do a first reading tonight. So you can put that in the minutes for next time.
Dan, anything? Nate, anything?
So I'll just maybe talk a little bit about two agenda items. The first one being the personnel policy. What we are trying to do, and I put this language up there, what we are trying to do is really 2 things. One is, I think for all of us who've been on the council, regardless of how long we've been on the council, we realize that accusations come from community members, they come from employees about other employees, they come from, in sometimes, elected officials, and it's very hard for us sitting up here to be fair and understand what's right. And honestly, increasingly, it's hard for us when we don't have any written record of what's going on. So we've spent several months looking at the personnel policy to try to do two things. One is to try to get the council more involved so that collectively we can think about personnel and hopefully take individuals' personalities out of it. And the reason that we tabled it last month was because I had been in a conversation with MTAS about doing written performance reviews for all our employees and having those available for the entire council to review. We created a process. I don't know whether that's readable or not. We created a process for annual reviews and then created a mechanism where if the employee has a problem with it, that they can bring it to the board. We can create a written record. It's not a perfect process, but what we're trying to do, and this is all of us working together, and I think we're all on the same page, what we're trying to do is up our game of professionalism and lessen the ability of personal conflicts, getting involved in personnel issues, trying to be more professional. So that's what we're trying to do. I'm sorry we can't vote on it. I think it's just about ready. There are a couple, we stole the performance review language from Kingston, Tennessee. MTAS shared it with me. There probably are a couple of references to Kingston that we could remove in the next month, so all is not lost.
Point example.
All right, enough said. The second thing I wanted to talk about is related to Imagine Monteagle and downtown. Katie Goforth brought to our attention the SS4A grant, which is the Safe Streets for All grant, that is federal highway dollars passing down. It's bypassing TDOT, which hopefully makes it easier. That is just for downtown planning and safe streets. So if y'all have been downtown, you know that particularly around the crosswalk, around the elementary school and all the sidewalks on that side, there's a lot of issues. We've talked, if you've been involved in the conversations about planning and zoning and how we're talking about changing some of the downtown zoning, there's a huge question about how much right-of-way, what we own, whether the sidewalks are on public right-of-way or whether they're on private land. We need to do some planning to figure that out. And this SS4A grant, it will cover 80% of the cost of that. And so I wanted to talk, I don't have a full proposal for the council, but I wanted to get you guys, I want to get you guys impressions and see if it's something we'd be interested in applying for. Because the bike lanes have always been sort of an imperfect solution, and the Mountain Goat Trail Alliance is sort of interested in figuring out how to do a better job of getting bicycles through downtown. They're willing to apply for the grant, but we would need to be willing to make that application happen. They can't apply for it, the town has to apply for it. There is a match that's 20%. It can include in kind, which means that our employees, so like for this grant for the planning at Fire Hall and the new trees we put in the park, that was an in-kind grant. It had a 20% match, but we didn't actually pay any money because we had our city employees do the work. This grant is the same way. But we will have to, so I'll stop there and say, does this seem interesting? We're probably talking about a $100,000 planning grant. This is not a build grant. It's not a big multi-million-dollar build grant. It's a planning grant to get us something on paper that we can then go take to funding agencies for larger grants.
But are we going to improve the sidewalks, or are we fixing a place for bicycle track?
Well, we would be fixing the sidewalks, but I think there's room for all
How
of
did the
that.
bicycle thing come in? Why doesn't the city be the applicant and?
The city is going to be the applicant. That's an asking.
Why would Mountain Goat
Write the application for us?
No, I'm assuming administered, I guess, because they.
No, the town would administer it.
Okay.
It would be our
This is
grant.
planning only.
It's planning only.
And then the scope of that would be decided by town council.
Correct. It's a Safe Streets for All grant, so it thinks about pedestrian safety, thinks about bicycle safety, it thinks about keeping the conflicts to a minimum, pedestrian crosswalks, those types of things. What it would get us that we desperately need is a survey and preliminary engineering for downtown. That's why I think it's very
But
interesting.
none of this has been done with TDOT or Mountain Goat Trail yet?
No, this would
And
be
you can
from.
do all of this even though it's a state highway?
Yes. We could put together a plan. This doesn't build anything.
Yeah, well, if we put together a plan and TDOT doesn't approve it, then what?
Or do we think TDOT will approve it?
Well, part of this would be hiring an engineering firm to help us figure it out. And engineering firms tend to talk to state agencies so that we get a product that is passable.
With varying degrees of success, probably.
So the hitch in the get along is the application is due May 26th. So we will not have had a city council meeting before then. So we'll either have to, if there's interest, I can get with an engineering firm or two, or get Patrick to do that and figure out sort of what we are talking about in terms of the scope of work. But if we were to do that, then we would need to have a special called meeting to approve the application of the grant. And so that's why I'm checking in to see if
When is
this
the
is
due
something.
date of the grant?
May 26th.
Who's Patrick?
That's the night of
Patrick
our,
is the executive director of the Mountain Goat Trail. He writes the grants.
that's the night of our meeting.
He's just doing this out of kindness of his heart. I'm doing it on behalf of them.
Yeah, he's just doing it before.
But can't, I mean, we're not spending any money, can't we do a resolution right now to apply?
Two things. One, we do have to commit to the match. Now, whether the match is in kind or whether the match is cash, we will have to commit to it in that resolution. And because we haven't talked to any engineering firms, we don't know what that match would be. So yes, you could do a resolution that says, we will match up to 20%, not to exceed $50,000 if you wanted to. But that seems like
It makes more sense just to have a special meeting.
I think so, because then we're not passing something where it's open-ended. But if there's not an appetite to try it, I don't want to go through the work to do it. But if there's appetite to try it, we might have to do a special meeting.
It's up to them, it's up to you.
I support it to look at it and study it and perhaps, and definitely have a special call meeting, and if it's something that's going to benefit for the common good of Monteagle, I think we should go forward.
So that,
I believe 14 days notice for a special call meeting.
So
We
that-
get started tomorrow, will you be ready in 2 weeks?
the 26th is our meeting?
Yes, the day after Memorial Day. That's what I said earlier. We're not meeting that Monday, we're meeting that Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day.
Well, let's look and see when it's due. If it's due midnight, we might be able to take care of it on the 26th. But it sounds like there's...
26th is
Dan,
Memorial
what do you-
Day.
How do you feel? Would you be open to...
I just want to know how much money the city's committed for on the match, which I understand we may not know now, but
Yeah.
will we know before we agree to do this?
Yeah, so what would happen next, is we probably need to reach out to LGA Engineering, reach out to a couple other engineering firms and say, hey, this grant's available, this is where we want to work, what would it cost for you to provide us with this service? And based on what they say it would cost us to provide it, then we write the grant based on that. And that's something that Travis has a team that can do, or we could do it with another engineering firm. If y'all are open, we'll start the process and try to have some numbers on the 26th or a special call meeting, depending on when the application's due.
Well, to start the process, do you want to go by consensus? Does anyone object to Nate researching this further?
No, I like the idea. I have no problem with a special called meeting. We've been talking about crosswalks in this town for a long time. You had kept talking about you possibly might have the multimodal grant that would apply for it, and it sounds like that's probably not going to...
No, the multimodal's in progress, so the multimodal stops at Tower Bank.
Okay,
There will
so
be a crosswalk at Tower Bank to serve Mountain Goat Market, and that's
On
what
which
they
side,
started
on the
that.
south side of, or on the east side of Assembly Drive?
Yes, no, on the west side of Assembly Drive. So that's in progress. That grant is at the final design phase. TDOT has to approve the design, but we can show that to
I
folks.
don't
This
know.
would pick up at Tower, and we would have to decide. My suggestion would be to stop it at City Hall or...
Yeah. I don't have a problem with a special call meeting or waiting on a thing.
Okay. Well, I'll...
Just to get some basic information, we can pass that, and then we can make a further decision.
Great, okay.
All right, old business, second reading of ordinance 3-26, that's the checklist ordinance. I'll accept the motion to accept that ordinance on second reading.
I'll make a motion for the second reading of 3-26.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any additions or corrections or comments on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item on old business is police department.
Yes, I had asked Debbie to put that on there as a carryover from last month, and then since that time, we've been made aware of different information concerning a couple of issues. And then we've received another a complaint on the chief. I think everybody's got a copy of that. That was given to the council and the chief, I guess, as well. And my question is, are we going to, how are we going to handle this as far as, my take on it is I think we should, I would like to hear the chief's response to the complaint. And if that's, is that proper, is it not proper? I guess we should ask the chief how he feels about it.
I don't have a problem with it. What venue do you want to have this information?
Whatever. I don't see that that's in the public forum's best interest, but I guess we'd ask the city attorney that. Chief, can you step in just a second? I was discussing about the complaint that had been filed on you and the best way to handle it, and I said for my benefit, I would like to be able to sit down and talk to you about it and hear your responses, and I don't see that it needs to go to a sheriff somewhere, because if part of it happened in Marion County, does that one go to Marion County, another go to Grundy, or and I just think the first step would be for us to hear. We've heard the complaint. Now I would like to hear your response.
So what I would say on that is to be as transparent and as fair as possible. You guys read the complaint, providing with the mayor and whomever, let's all as a group, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys can call a meeting and sit down, read the complaint, watch the video, and you guys make your decision yourself. And then you can ask me questions.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I mean, you've already heard one side, so let's watch the video and look at the complaint, look at the report, so that you guys, and if it's not clear, then you guys can ask me questions. But if it's clear, then I think that would be the fairest thing to do.
As a first step for investigation, would you be satisfied with a workshop?
I would, yeah, absolutely.
Would the members be satisfied with a workshop as step one of investigation?
A legal one.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Can I go ahead and suggest this again? I
Well,
suggested
I
it.
didn't understand what Dean was saying.
I'm sorry.
I said a legal workshop.
Yeah, I know all that. What name?
I suggested several years ago that we just set up legal workshops every Monday, and the Monday be town business. And we advertise that there will be a workshop every Monday, and we show up. Anybody who's interested can show up on Monday. If you don't have an agenda, well, it's just that we need an agenda, but then the community knows when they can talk to us, then we know when we're supposed to be here. It just makes it clear for everybody and make sure we stay in compliance. I try to keep my Monday calendar in the evening free just for city business, hoping that we would do that. And we did it for a while, and then the workshops have been moving around of late.
So
what time of the
But that would be an opportunity to touch base with you.
And I agree. So, because obviously my point of view is going to be a little different than obviously the complainant, right? So I can tell you my side, the complainant's going to tell you your side. But if you have something that's set up like that, then, and if there is video or whatever, then whoever decides to show up, plus the board, can see it, and there's no discussion. I mean, it's like, oh, chief, you said this, but this is what it's showing.
So there's a couple of other things.
Right.
One of them, over the last 3 or 4 months, you and I had talked about like the assault rifle thing.
Correct.
And that ended up
Correct.
in a couple of boo-boos.
It did.
But anyway, do we need to make a motion on that, or nobody wants to do that, or?
I'll schedule workshops every Monday. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, what time?
That would be better for me.
5 would be better.
All right, 5 o'clock every Monday.
So we need to go on record here of doing that, I think. I'd make a motion that we start having workshops advertised for every Monday at 5 p.m. here at City Hall. And to get on the agenda thing, I guess it would be general business of the city. Would that cover?
Well, May 11th, we have a specific agenda item.
Okay.
So I think input from you all, to me,
so I can set an agenda.
Well, but the problem is if something came up, we say, oh, that's not on the agenda. If it's general business of the city and then add to whatever the specialty is.
You know, those aren't agenda items, but if you want to make that hybrid modification, fine.
Well, no, we can wait
An
till the next
agenda,
time you know.
an agenda supposedly is to define subjects you're going to talk about, so you know what to address and what to research. If you want it broad and open and it's not an agenda, it's whatever comes to mind, then we'll run it. I'm prepared to have a workshop every Monday, 5 p.m., except for national holidays like Memorial Day.
That's my motion.
Well, there's a problem with that, Mayor, because one Monday out of every month, we're here for this council meeting. So are you going to combine them or lengthen the city council meeting to include the legal?
Should be 3
So
workshops.
is your motion
Excluding them.
excluding the city meeting? Thank you. It's been made and seconded. Do you accept the amendment, Mr. Fletcher?
I do.
Thank you. Is there any, so that's a motion and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
If there's 5 Mondays in the month, are we going to leave forward?
The next meeting is May 4th at 5 o'clock, a workshop. With your input, I will prepare an agenda. You plural, not just you, Dean. So the
I was
four
just
of
wondering
you
if there was 5, when there's 5 Mondays.
Martha Ann's had her hand up for some time.
We will meet every Monday except for national holiday and the mayor and alderman, regardless of the number of Mondays.
This is the nice thing about having a bunch of them, so not everybody has to show up every one.
Somebody else have to do minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm going to check with Sam on minutes. I don't understand minutes if you don't decide anything. You can make notes on comments or follow it, but, all right.
Martha's fingers are turning blue.
Mayor.
What? Oh, Martha.
Having worked 30 years, you do not have an open meeting when you are talking about employees. It should be an executive session with only the council and the employee.
That's always been my feeling. I quite agree.
Well, I think that needs to be very clear with the council. You don't talk about employees in front of the public. It is only an executive session.
So we need to, will you please ask Sam that? Because I agree with you, but there's been some pushback about whether that's even allowed under the Sunshine Law. So I would ask Sam what kind of exceptions there are.
So we did find out that human resources are not subject to the open records. We looked it up the other day, so that would make sense.
Well, the only thing would be the outcome might be public record as far as, but not the details
Not the file.
in getting there. But I think whatever, if the council took some action on a subject, then that would be public record.
All right, let me just change the agenda because first reading, I'll accept a motion on first reading of ordinance 4-26, the budget amendment, which you're all aware of that we've discussed. Is there a motion to accept that on first reading?
What is it?
Ordinance 4-26, the budget amendment is listed on your agenda.
Well, I don't think I got that. I got 396.
Yes, you did.
426.
It's in the packet.
It's for the beautification.
Oh, yes, I've got that. I'm sorry.
We have 2, 4 and 5.
All right, this is first reading of ordinance 4-26, the budget amendment, a motion to accept.
Hang on, why does it say drug fund and expenditures at the top and then beautification?
That's a typo. That's been told.
This says beautification, switching beautification dollars. Or are we doing something? I can't hear you. What
The
is it?
8,500 that was asked for beautification.
So this is a beautification issue, not a drug fund issue?
Yeah, it's not a drug condition.
Okay.
It's a beautification. Yes.
It's for rims for the car.
So is there a motion to accept ordinance 4-26?
I make a motion to accept 426.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carries. You have recently received ordinance ordinance 5-26 on the first reading. On the first reading, I'll accept a motion to accept the ordinance 5-26 on the first reading.
The tree grant.
So
Tree
moved.
grant. Thank you. Is there a second?
Are these going to be, before a second, are these going to be the language corrected for the record?
Yes.
And this is what, for the trees?
This is a tree grant.
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Dave, do you have anything to say about that?
This one stinks, didn't it? Oh, no, it just says drug fund too.
Yeah, but do you have any discussion on the motion of the expenditure?
This
Any
is,
discussion?
this is just to cover the cost of the planting for the trees, and there, it adds it to revenues and
Thank
adds
you.
it to expenses.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, the motion carries. Engineering/rate study, under new business.
That's you, my friend.
Yes. You handed us something the other day about that you had approved a contract to do a second rate study.
Yes.
I thought the council had to approve any contracts for them to be legal and binding.
Well, the first time we looked at a rate study, we voted it down. We were told that we'd be getting one within 2 or 3 months. There have been delays, so that happens. I had to make a decision on budget. I had to make a decision on all the work that was added on the capital improvement plan. So I authorized a review of the budget that was already prepared by the same contractor for a lesser amount. So I made that decision because hopefully we will incorporate that in our May 11th meeting when we set the budget. So I had to make a decision, and as you know, it deals with the sewer plant, which is under a consent order and has several other issues to deal with. So that's the position I took.
But last year we did a rate study, right?
Yeah, and then
And
we
it was
added
for
a
2
lot.
years.
Yes,
It
and
was
then we
last
added-
year and this year.
And then we added a lot of capital improvement changes, which necessitated a review of what we said. Originally, when we did it, we were supposed to review it every year or so.
So when I asked the engineer about the payment for this would come out on the indebtedness on the improvement project, that it was factored in under this new rate increase. It's going to take effect July 1st. Is that correct, Debbie? July 1?
Yeah, but we're not sure of that.
Well, that's where I'm heading with that.
We're talking about a bond, we're talking about additional equipment that was not in there. And like one example of the correction that we made was the famous third water tower. We've pushed that out and pushed that out because of other things coming up. Now it's completely off the list.
Well, we don't have any water to put in it. I mean,
What?
we don't have water to put in it. It's not really.
Well, it was something that the commissioner said would be a solution, would be a third water tank. So we put it in a plan.
Well, back on this, I don't think it's legal, according to our charter, for you to have entered into that agreement on that contract, and that is a void contract unless this council votes it in, accepts it.
Well, that's your opinion. I had to make decisions and move forward as I've outlined.
Well, then I
So-
guess my next question is, if I want to file a complaint, who do I need to do that with?
I don't know. I guess me. But you've heard the reasons, you know the reasons. I think deep down you agree with the reasons. It's just we have to come up with a
Well,
budget that's due.
the problem is,
I understand. I don't think I've made it a habit to pass everything when the sun is shining. I think we are under different problems with the sewer plant and the enterprise fund and that whole operation.
and
I
one
wanted to
major
review.
problem we've got, I think, is LJA, our engineers. They are eating us alive in these fees. And someone from City Hall said we may have a 25% rate increase coming up. And I said, I have no idea. I don't
didn't
know.
hear that number.
What number are we talking about?
That's why they're still working on it, and I hope to get an answer by Thursday and be ready for the meeting of May 5th or May 11th.
And this was it $6,000 or $9,000?
6.
Okay.
9 was already paid, that was the original.
This is the
Okay.
same contractor to update based on all the improvements and changes we've made.
Well, I think it's illegal. I don't think it's a valid contract, and I don't know, I guess I'll call the comptroller's office or something, start there and work my way down.
Whatever you feel you have to do.
Okay, thank
But
you.
I think that he's aware of the consent orders as well. So,
The
you know.
consent order does not trump Tennessee Code Annotated.
No, it.
And if you called a meeting and had us meet about this, we could have discussed it and there could have been a vote on it.
I should have, but I don't think I had the time with 14 days' notice and presenting all of this.
Well,
So-
the ratepayers are getting the short end of this.
Not at all.
Yes.
The ratepayers are avoiding a lot of fines and penalties and NOVs and further consent
We can call
orders.
it that if you want to. What about the $60,000 we're gonna pay LJA to do an impact study thing for 30 years from now?
That was a request of ours, but that was part of getting an impact fee to lessen it on the ratepayers. If you don't want an impact study, you want to go as is, dollar for dollar, that's another issue.
I just think the poor people of Monteagle, that residential that's paying $150 a month in the water and sewer bill, that's enough. And I think LJA is eating us alive. I've been told that other utilities have second engineers come in and take a second opinion of what the engineer of record is doing to see if we're getting what we should get instead of, now I've been told that anything comes through City Hall about a request for a water meter or anything, is it has to go to LJA. For a single.
No, not a water meter. Water line extensions and tapping onto existing water and sewer lines has to go to the town engineer.
Yeah, we voted on part of that.
Yeah, because part of some lines you cannot tap on because they're not city lines, they're private lines. Some already are up to capacity and can't take any more taps. So there are reasons why I have felt the engineer should review these things before we keep going oops.
Mayor, I think there's a larger issue here. So I went to the Zooms associated with the rate study, and we talked about where the growth in our water and sewer budget is, and I think we know where the growth in our water and sewer budget is, and that's Dean's point. I'll bring this graph up that I've used in the budget. I'm sorry I haven't got it updated yet with this year's numbers, but I can tell you it doesn't look any better. The gray line is our administrative budget within water and sewer. And you can see that it started, the rest of these are our expenses. Our sewer treatment costs did go up, and now they've kind of flatlined. But this is our administrative budget and what it's done. And it continues to go up and up and up, and it continues this trend. And those are consultants. And so while I understand that we sometimes need assistance with our water and sewer, when we pay a consultant to tell us that we are spending too much money on consultants, we are not helping the problem. And we are now facing what perhaps will be our second year of losses within the water and sewer, even though those consultants helped us put together a rate study that didn't work. So I feel like it's just much more productive for us as a council to get involved in the down and dirty of the numbers instead of leaving it to the consultants to tell us how to fix our problems, because it's clearly, that's the only thing. So when you and I talked the other day about how to get costs under control in water and sewer to see if we could be net positive for this budget year, you said, well, we have to order chemicals. Well, chemicals aren't our problem. Chemicals are staying flat. The problem is our administration. It's the consultants that we're bringing in. Now, so since this happened, and I was particularly frustrated with this rate study consultant because I didn't think that, frankly, he was worth the money. I went and I had Melissa give me all the LGA invoices for the last 2 years, and I had Stephanie give me the entire administrative budget line for line over the last 3 years. And I was expecting to see what Dean was complaining about, that the LGA is milking us dry. What instead I saw is that we have a whole lot of big projects going on, and I was actually pleasantly surprised to see how little general consulting fees we had over the total. I haven't totaled it up. I'm going to try to have that for next month so that everybody can see sort of what that is. But largely what we are doing is paying for individual projects that we have approved. The big one we approved back in 2023, the water and sewer project, that's going to be the largest billing cycle for LGA in the last billing year, just based on what I've looked at. So if that's the problem, then hiring another consultant I don't think is the solution. I am interested tonight in figuring out how to make sure that our water and sewer has a positive cash flow at the end of this budget year.
Okay.
And so to do that, I have spent a lot of time on the phone with our consultants, LGA, and they are willing to consider a contract amendment if you will send them an email indicating that the latest contract we approved for them on impact fees, which I think is important. I think we all need to get our hands around impact fees, but that we convert that from a monthly billing to a lump sum payable upon completion, and that payable upon completion be November of 2027, so that it does not fall in this billing year, to make sure that we don't get billed for any of those things within this budget year, because Stephanie says we could be 10,000 one way or the other, so every little bit counts. Relatedly, I would like for you to send him an email suspending 2 of the other projects that we talked about until after the next budget year, so that we get our consulting fees down. We flatten this gray line at least to the end of the budget year. In July 1, there's an automatic rate increase that already goes into effect. I think with reasonable people on the council, like we all are, we can look at the administrative budget. We can assign a consultant budget for the fiscal year 2027 and get ourselves under control. I do not think that we need to do another rate increase on July 1 simply because we haven't been paying attention to the administrative lines. We need to begin to pay attention to the administrative lines.
Okay. That's it?
So, well, I'm going to jump
Wait a
in.
minute, I'd like to address this.
Okay.
Because I think we can agree that we've had more than one workshop with the engineer on many different subjects. I think we can agree that we talked about impact fees as a way of getting additional revenue into the enterprise fund sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
I think we can agree that the mayor has been working very diligently on a daily basis to make sure we don't go over and have a second year of loss, because I've asked the rate study person to meet with the accountant, and they have determined as an initial review that the lead copper study, which was severely impacting our numbers, was a grant but could not be capitalized and therefore affected our numbers. And I think you had that conversation today with Mr. Wilson.
I did.
Because I did before that, so I figured you knew all of that. So there are a lot of circumstances. An engineer is needed for any grant we get.
Absolutely.
They want the stamp one, not you and me talking about it.
I'm not looking to fire anybody.
Okay, I'm not firing anybody anyway. All I'm saying is there are a lot of requests that we have put forward because things have not been done over the years and we're still playing catch up. Now, I don't like rate increases, but as Ross Colon of the Comptroller's Office said in an MTAS study, if you want water, you have to pay for it. You heard that line. So there's a lot of stuff going on. If you don't want to remove sludge, if you don't want to do a bond, if you don't want to do the other things that we've been talking about, fine. I will send the email tomorrow and suspend all work that he's doing. But I don't think that's going to solve our problem of administration and how the comptroller wants us to handle lead copper studies that can't be capitalized, that the state requested, that they gave a grant for, which they're not done paying for.
Well,
In my humble opinion.
The problem with the statutory loss is that it doesn't include the grants. So even if we had gotten a grant for it, the statutory loss for water and sewer would remove the grant from the total. So I don't think
water and sewer. What do you mean water and sewer? The I&I?
No, they.
So it was a grant.
The enterprise fund must show a profit by law. If it reports a loss 2 years in a row, then the comptroller's office will get involved.
Of operating.
Of operating. We showed a loss last year, a statutory loss last year, because of the expenditures on lead and copper, which is right, we had to do it, nothing we could do about it.
That was state mandated.
State mandated, but the grant that covered the cost couldn't help us with that. I get that.
No, it would if they finished paying it, and it was a match, I think. I don't think it was 100%. I don't recall the numbers, but it was a match, I think, for lead and copper.
So, what I'm asking, I agree with you on all those topics, and I would like to take action now to make sure we don't have a second loss. And the way we don't have a second loss is we address this administrative tagline starting tomorrow. Thank you for sending the emails.
What project do you want me to suspend? The impact and what else?
So the impact fee, he's willing to convert to lump sum, which doesn't stop it, it just makes it payable upon completion, and the completion will be in the next fiscal year.
Yeah. Well, the next fiscal year means what? July 1st?
July 1.
Of what year?
Of 2026.
26, 27.
That's this year.
Right.
It's our next budget year. It comes out in November, so it'll be our next budget year.
Okay.
So
We have May.
We don't show the loss this year.
We have May and June. We have 2 months left in this fiscal year. I'm trying to
I'm already doing that with a bunch of you.
move expenses to the next budget year.
Fine.
Thank you for doing that.
Okay.
I just real quick, I just want to address, and Mayor, I don't mean to be beating up on you or anything, but we were all very confident in the rate study that we did last year. That was I think it was a 5-year look ahead.
It was.
And we agreed to the rate increase that we did in March of 2025, and we agreed to, I think it was March or April, and then we agreed to the July 1, 26 thing, and it showed it showed all of our capital projects out there, which more than covered what we are actually looking at right now, because we're pushing a couple things down the road. So it didn't. The reason that we as a council voted against having another rate study done is because we were confident in the numbers from the previous rate study and didn't feel like we needed to spend the money for the second rate study.
Did that rate study show the bond?
Yes.
Yes, it did. It showed all the capital.
Yes, it did.
It showed the capital improvements that the bond is going to pay for. We had those built into it. And all I'm saying, again, I'm not beating you up, is I think the action that you took unilaterally was wrong, and we need to know that should not be happening again, and that the council does need to be approving those type of expenditures, especially when we were deeply involved with it and had a lot of knowledge about why we did not want to have it again. And we'll find out in May that whether. So far, to me, what I have seen and heard from the rate study people, that the job that they're doing right now that you approved, it has not brought us any kind of significant benefit. And as a matter of fact, it's more confusing than what the first one was. And so I would just want to say that by the time we get to May, we'll look back and go, we really didn't need that rate study. And I just want to say that out loud. I'm not beating you up, but in the future, I don't think those unilateral actions should be taken.
Okay, understood. Duly noted. I won't take any more unilateral actions. But any consent orders or any TDEC violations due to lack of action will fall on all of us.
I understand that, but this had nothing to do with consent orders.
Quite frankly, I'm not satisfied that the bond arithmetic and all of the sludge and the other stuff that we added was properly addressed in the last rate study.
Okay.
Now, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. As you say, we'll know in May. Anything else? I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll start next month.